You're traveling through the unknown, a journey beyond the corners of reality, where the shadows whisper and the chill runs deep. Welcome to the dimension where your deepest fears are given form. This is The Midnight Mystery.
Welcome to The Midnight Mystery. This episode is called Countdown to Doomsday. In each episode, we delve into the shadowed corners of our existence, bringing you tales of the eerie, the uncanny, and the downright terrifying. From the realms of the supernatural to the depths of the human psyche, no stone is left unturned, no dark secret left hidden. As the clock once again draws near midnight, prepare to embark on another adventure into the uncanny, the eerie, the horrifying, the midnight mystery. If you've ever lived in a small town, you'd know that peaceful is both its blessing and its curse. Our town is the epitome of tranquil, a place where everyone knows everyone, and the most significant event is the annual Fall Fair. You get your news from Channel 9, our community TV channel. It's the sort of station that broadcasts school board meetings, local bake sales, and if there's a cat stuck in a tree, you bet you'll hear about it on Channel 9. Tonight was no different, at least at first. Linda and I were settled on the couch. She was flipping through a cookbook, and I had one eye on the TV and another on my phone. A local historian was narrating the founding of our town on the community channel. Riveting stuff. "Chicken or beef stew for dinner?" Linda asked, looking up from her book. "Chicken," I said without a second thought. "You make the best chicken stew." She smiled. "Flattery will get you everywhere." Just as the historian on TV began detailing the various changes to the town square over the years, the screen went black. A moment later, a timer appeared with the label "Countdown to Midnight," ticking down from exactly 4 hours. "What the?" Linda glanced up from her book and squinted at the TV. "Must be a glitch or something," I said, but I felt uneasy. There was something off about it. No fancy graphics, no explanations, just a cold, digital countdown. "I'm sure Mayor Thompson will clear this up soon," Linda said, turning her attention back to the cookbook. I nodded, but my eyes stayed glued to the screen. Maybe it was nothing, but as the seconds ticked away, a disquieting feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. There was an itch in my brain, a whisper saying that this was something more, something not to be ignored. I picked up the remote and switched off the TV, dismissing my gut feeling as nothing more than paranoia. But as I looked at Linda, her eyes now full of concern, I felt the weight of that countdown looming over us, like a dark cloud threatening to burst open at any moment. "We should check the news, see if anyone else is talking about this," I suggested. And that's when the phone rang, shattering the illusion of just another peaceful evening in our small town. The phone's ringtone cut through the air like a siren, startling us both. I picked it up and saw Mayor Thompson's name flash on the screen. A call from the mayor wasn't a usual occurrence in our household. "Dave, it's Thompson. I need a favor. Turn the channel back to 9. We're broadcasting an announcement to clear up this countdown mess. Could you watch it and then help with tech support? People are panicking, and our station's phone lines are jammed." "Sure, Mayor. We'll tune in." I ended the call and turned the TV back on, flipping to Channel 9. A makeshift setup replaced the timer, and there was Mayor Thompson, looking as dignified as one could under impromptu circumstances. The tagline below read, "Urgent announcement regarding the countdown to midnight." "Good evening, folks," he started. "I want to address the mysterious countdown that has been airing on this channel. It appears to be some technical error, and we are investigating the matter thoroughly." "Technical error, my ass," I muttered. "That's way too convenient." Linda nudged me. "Let's hear him out." "We have our best minds looking into this," Mayor Thompson continued. "There's no reason to suspect any immediate danger. Please remain calm while we sort this out." The broadcast ended as abruptly as it had begun, and the screen reverted to the timer, ticking down with unnerving persistence. "So, what do you think?" Linda asked. "I don't buy it," I said. "If it's a technical glitch, why hasn't it been fixed? And why is the countdown so specific? Midnight isn't far off." "I agree. This feels off." Linda looked troubled. I picked up my phone again to call Mayor Thompson. It went straight to voicemail. Not surprising given the chaos that was likely brewing. Suddenly, a message notification popped up on my screen. It was from Sarah, a local reporter and an old friend from high school. Her text read, "Hey Dave, got a sec? Noticed something strange at the station just before that countdown aired. Want to chat? I showed Linda the text. Looks like you're not the only one who thinks something's fishy, she said. Sarah's always had a good nose for these things. Maybe she knows something we don't. I typed back, absolutely. Let's meet up ASAP. So, what's the plan? Linda asked. We're going to see Sarah. If something's rotten in this town, she'll know. As Linda and I stepped out onto the street, a palpable tension was in the air, as if the town itself had sensed the urgency of the ticking countdown. People were spilling out of their homes, whispering in hushed tones. I heard it's a missing nuclear warhead. I overheard Mrs. Peterson, the local librarian, nervously mutter to her neighbor. A nuclear warhead? Here? The incredulity in Linda's voice mirrored my own thoughts. Rumors are spreading like wildfire, I said. It's triggering mass hysteria. And it was. The evidence was all around us. Cars packed with hastily grabbed belongings sped past, their drivers' faces taut with panic. At the corner market, people were snatching water bottles, canned goods, and batteries like they were golden tickets to salvation. A group had even gathered in front of the church, praying in fervent tones. Linda, I need to find out what's going on. For all we know, this could be serious, I said, the weight of the decision heavy on my words. She looked at me with both worry and determination. Then we'll investigate together. We met Sarah at a rundown cafe on the outskirts of town, away from the chaos. She was visibly shaken but eager to share what she knew. Dave, you're not going to believe this, she said, pulling us into a corner booth. Just before the countdown started, I noticed a weird signal interference on our broadcast equipment. I've never seen anything like it. A signal interference? Like someone hacked the station? I asked. More like something jammed our usual frequency for a brief moment, Sarah explained. And it wasn't just a random glitch. It felt intentional. Intentional? Are you suggesting someone planned this? Linda's voice tinged with disbelief. I can't be sure, but I can show you the signal logs if you want to have a look, Sarah offered. That might be the clue we need, I said, feeling the first spark of hope since this ordeal began. If there's an external signal causing this, maybe we can trace it. Sarah nodded. I'll get you the logs, but be careful, Dave. People are scared, and scared people do unpredictable things. Within an hour, I had the signal logs that Sarah sent over displayed on my laptop. Running through lines of code and timestamps, I employed some network triangulation techniques I picked up from my job as a systems analyst. Not the kind of work you'd think would come in handy in a small town, but here we were. Linda, I think I've got it, I said, pointing at a set of coordinates on the screen. The signal seems to originate from here, an isolated area on the outskirts. We're going there, aren't we? Linda asked, not a trace of doubt in her voice. Absolutely. The drive should have been straightforward. But as we neared the area, weird things started happening. First, both of our mobile phones blinked out, their screens filled with static before shutting down entirely. That's not supposed to happen, Linda said, her eyes widening. No, it's not, I agreed, my hands tightening around the steering wheel. Just as we crossed an old wooden bridge, a disorienting fog rolled in, thick and seemingly out of nowhere. Visibility plummeted to near zero. This isn't natural, Linda whispered, her voice tinged with a quiet horror. Before I could answer, a deer sprinted across the road, its eyes unnaturally luminescent, almost glowing. Then, almost like a shadow, a pack of raccoons followed, but they didn't dart or scatter. They moved with eerie synchronicity, crossing the road as if in formation. Dave, what is happening here? Linda's voice shook. I don't know, but it feels like the world has slipped off its axis. We finally reached the coordinates. The fog lifted as suddenly as it had appeared, revealing a dilapidated shack, weather-beaten and long abandoned, or so it seemed. Linda, stay in the car, I said as I opened the door. She grabbed my arm. I'm coming with you. Whatever's in there, we'll face it together. As we approached the shack, the air grew dense, the weight of our actions and the impending deadline of the countdown pressing upon us. My eyes darted to my wristwatch. The seconds continued to mercilessly tick away. We reached for the door handle together and pulled. The door creaked open, revealing a dusty room filled with forgotten remnants of a past life. Old furniture, weathered books, and an overwhelming sense of decay. But it was what lay at the center of the room that caught our attention. A cylindrical object, metallic and foreboding. A digital timer on its side mirrored the countdown that had hijacked our lives. "Linda, that's it. That's the warhead." My voice barely a whisper, as if speaking louder could trigger it. "I was afraid you'd say that," Linda replied, her face pale as the moonlight filtering through the cracks in the walls. "What now?" I approached the warhead cautiously, examining the timer and its wiring. My mind raced through the knowledge I had acquired from random documentaries and forums. A dangerous and shallow pool of expertise, but all we had. "I'm going to try to disarm it," I said, pulling a set of mini screwdrivers from my pocket. Linda looked at me, her eyes brimming with a mix of hope and despair. "Can you do it?" I met her gaze, suddenly feeling the weight of the town's fate, our fate, bearing down on me. "I have to try." As I dissected the warhead's casing, it quickly became apparent that this was no ordinary setup. A labyrinth of wires led to redundancies that led to dead ends. Logic and patterns were subverted, replaced with what seemed like chaos. Someone had rigged this to be unsolvable, a puzzle that defied resolution. "I can't do it," I finally admitted, my hands trembling as I took a step back. "It's been rigged in a way that's beyond me, maybe beyond anyone." Linda wrapped her arms around herself, as if trying to hold her breaking heart together. "So what does that mean?" "It means," I paused, searching for the right words and finding none. "We can't stop it. Midnight is inevitable." My hand trembled as I dialed Mayor Thompson's number. To my surprise, he picked up immediately. "Dave, please tell me you have good news," he sounded out of breath, his voice echoing against the backdrop of what sounded like communal prayer. "Mayor, we found the warhead, but disarming it is impossible. I don't know who did this or how, but we can't stop it." There was a long pause. When Mayor Thompson finally spoke, his voice was almost a whisper. "May God have mercy on us all." We hung up, the finality of the call echoing in the hollow space of the abandoned shack. The timer ticked down. 10 minutes, then 5, then 1. Linda and I sat together, watching as the numbers dwindled toward oblivion. There were no more plans to make, no more moves to counter. As the seconds dwindled to nothingness, Linda and I looked into each other's eyes. The digital timer on the warhead now read 15, 14, 13. Each disappearing number a subtraction from the life we knew, from the future we'd never have. "Do you think it'll be quick?" Linda asked, her voice quivering. "I don't know," I answered honestly, "but at least we're together." A sense of serene resignation settled over us as the timer hit 0. For a split second, there was silence. A complete and eerie stillness, as if the universe itself had paused to take a breath. Then the sky erupted in an overwhelming flash of white light, turning night into an artificial, scalding day. The force that followed was indescribable, a shockwave that seemed to come from the bowels of the earth itself, tearing through the town like a vengeful god. I could feel it ripple through my very cells, a dissonance in the fabric of reality. We were lifted off our feet, the shack disintegrating around us as if it were made of paper. As we were thrown into the air, our hands instinctively clung to each other, a final human connection amid the destruction. There was a momentary feeling of weightlessness, as if we were floating, disconnected from the ground and the laws that had governed our lives. I could barely hear Linda's last words, almost drowned out by the cacophonous roar filling the air. "I love you." And then there was nothing. No sound, no light, no pain. I hope you enjoyed our episode. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to you, our brave listeners. Your presence in this shared journey into the unknown is what fuels our stories. Your fascination is our motivation. Did this episode send chills down your spine? Then leave your comments, your thoughts and theories, your own midnight mysteries. Your feedback is the beacon that guides us through the uncharted territories of our stories. And if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel. By joining the Midnight Mystery family, you won't miss out on a single chilling tale. As a subscriber, you'll be the first to know when a new episode lurks around the corner, ready to pull you back into the shadowy depths of the unknown. This is the Midnight Mystery signing off, leaving you with a simple reminder. When the clock strikes 12, fear the silence, for that's when our tales come to life. Good night, Midnight listeners, and remember, not all who wander into the dark are lost.